Mm, so good. I'm Mark Matsumoto and welcome to my Tokyo kitchen. I've shown you before how to make my Japanese omelet or tamagoyaki, but today I want to show you a different style of omelet called Dashimaki Tamago. It's made with a high ratio of dashi stock, which gives it oodles of umami while making it melt in your mouth tender. So let's start with a look at our ingredients. I'm using 4 large eggs, which is about 1 US cup or 240 milliliters. I'm also using 3/4 of a cup of dashi stock, 1 teaspoon of potato starch, 1 teaspoon usukuchi soy sauce, and an 1/8 teaspoon of salt. To serve our Dashimaki Tamago, I'm gonna grate up some Daikon radish, which is a popular condiment in Japan, and we're gonna season it with soy sauce. The first thing I'm gonna do is prepare the dashi by adding the potato starch, salt, dashi stock, and usukuchi soy sauce to a medium bowl. Then I'm gonna mix this together until the salt is dissolved. You can use powdered dashi or dashi packs, but I have a recipe for making it from scratch, so look for the link in the description. To prep the eggs, I'm gonna break them into a bowl. For the best color, I recommend using eggs from hens that have been fed a diet high in beta-carotene. This gives the yolks an orange hue, which will make your Dashimaki Tamago a beautiful golden color. Now I'm gonna beat the eggs until they're uniform in color. The goal here is to get the yolks evenly mixed into the egg whites without incorporating too much air. You can do this by standing the chopsticks straight up and down and using a side-to-side motion. Circular motions will whip air bubbles into the egg, and I don't recommend using a whisk for the same reason. Now I'm gonna pour the beaten eggs into the dashi. Then you can use your chopsticks to mix the two together. A few air bubbles are inevitable, but we're gonna get rid of these in the next step, so don't worry about them. Now let's pour this through a fine mesh strainer. This not only gets rid of the air bubbles, it's also gonna get rid of the kaleza and any unmixed egg white. Before we get rolling, I wanna tell you about my online cookbook over at marksrecipes.com. It's where I share recipes for the easy home-cooked meals that I cook for my family, like this soy sauce braised black cod, these pan-roasted shishito peppers, or this beef and miso stew. So head over and check them out. All right, let's get back to our Dashimaki Tamago. Okay, I've got a preheated Tamagoyaki pan over medium-low heat, and I'm gonna give it a thin, even coating of oil with a folded paper towel that's been soaked with vegetable oil. Make sure you get into all the edges and corners. Then I'm gonna add enough of the egg mixture to easily coat the bottom of the pan. If you see air bubbles form, just burst them with a pair of chopsticks. When the egg is mostly cooked through, use a spatula to separate it from the edges of the pan, and then start rolling the omelet from the far end of the pan towards you. The high ratio of dashi makes the egg pretty soft and it's prone to tearing, but don't worry about it too much at this point and roll it up as best you can. Now I'm gonna push our mini tamagoyaki to the far end of the pan and add some more egg. Use a pair of chopsticks to lift up the omelet and tip the pan to get a fresh layer of egg underneath so it doesn't burn. When the egg is mostly set, we're gonna roll this up again. If you notice the omelet sliding instead of rolling, you can tip the pan up so you're rolling the egg uphill. Gravity's gonna give you a helping hand. Now just repeat these steps with the remaining egg. By the way, you can also make Dashimaki Tamago in a round frying pan. You start it off the same way, but when you go to roll it, flip the left and right sides towards the center. Then you can roll it up like this. When I'm doing this in a round pan, I usually like to roll away from me, so return the roll to the edge closest to you before pouring the next layer. Okay, back in our Tamagoyaki pan, this is our last layer. You want to try your best not to tear the egg here, but if you do, it's still gonna taste exactly the same, so don't sweat it. Push your Dashimaki Tamago to the far edge of the pan one more time, and then we're gonna transfer this Japanese omelet out onto a bamboo sushi mat with the ribbed side facing up. Then I'm gonna tightly wrap our Dashimaki Tamago with the mat. hold the edge of the mat as you pull the roll towards you to cinch it up so it's nice and tight. Then I'm gonna roll it up the rest of the way and give it a squeeze so it has a nice dome top. Let this rest for about 10 minutes. The mat not only gives it a nice shape, it's also gonna compress the layers together so there are no gaps when we slice the omelet. While we wait for our egg, let's prep our Daikon Oroshi. I recommend using the top half of the daikon because it tends to be sweeter and less spicy. The skin on daikon can be tough and fibrous, so I recommend peeling a relatively thick layer off using a knife instead of a peeler. Then I'm gonna grate this on a ceramic daikon grater using mild pressure, but the rasp side of a box grater will work if you don't have one of these. Daikon contains a ton of water, so you'll want to lightly drain this in a fine mesh strainer to remove the excess water. Okay, our tamagoyaki should be ready, so let's see how it looks. Beautiful, isn't it? Let's cut this up. I usually start by cutting it in half, and then you can divide the halves into either 3 or 4 pieces. I'm gonna get this onto my plate, and then let's stagger them so they're easier to pick up. Garnish this with our mound of Daikon Oroshi, and our Dashimaki Tamago is ready to eat. This Dashimaki Tamago is still warm and it smells super savory, so let's give it a try. Itadakimasu. All right, grab a piece in the center here. Oh, look at that, it jiggles like jello. It's juicy and tender, and with every bite you take, it gushes out some of that dashi, which fills your mouth with a savory, beautiful taste. All right, I'm gonna have it with a little bit of Daikon Oroshi. I'm gonna pour a little of soy sauce on there, and we'll get a little mound of daikon, put it on our Dashimaki Tamago. Now that right there is comfort food. The daikon adds a peppery kick and a bit of freshness, which keeps the egg from becoming too rich. This Dashimaki Tamago isn't the easiest style of tamagoyaki to master, but it's definitely worth the effort, so I hope you'll give it a try. Well, I'm off to go tend to my vegetable garden, but check out this playlist for more delightful egg dishes, and I'll catch you in the next one.